Welcome to Double Funnel.
Welcome to Double Funnel TV. We're here.
I know.
I'm Scott. That's Jena.
Or Princess Leia.
Princess Leia, sorry.
Or gaming on Twitch. Little Fortnite.
Yeah, really. Yeah. Gamer Jena.
Morning sunshine. So I check my sound.
Jeremy,
here.
come on, Jeremy. It's evening. Wake
Jeremy
up.
is busy in the digital marketer engage group, leaving me kudos that he got more engagement with my organic social media and leads than he did with his paid Facebook ads.
Nice.
That was a nice way to wake up. So I've been totally ignoring the Dean Graziosi like morning routine. Don't look at your freaking phone. And
how's that working for you?
It's pros and cons, right? This morning was nice. You're like, oh, Jeremy.
That's nice.
Today on Double Funnel TV,
yes,
we have Mr. Scott Schilling teaching how to leverage active listening to increase sales and drive traffic into your sales funnels. You do? Oh my gosh, I know him too.
Hey, what up?
I know, right? So you know what? I don't think we talk very much about what gives you.
What didn't we talk about?
What makes you worth listening to? What makes you special in the sales arena?
Well, I've been doing it for 243,000 years, so that's part of it. I started selling when I was. Other than my 4-year-old story, which is actually when I started, but while I was going to college, while I was going to the University of Iowa and playing Big Ten football, and going after my Bachelor of Business Administration degree with a marketing major, I came to realize that there were a lot of people in the business school that would come through with the exact same major, and they'd have a whole lot of philosophical and theoretical marketing experience, right? Because that's what we kind of learn from books sometime. And it was at a period of time in our country when jobs were not available. There was not a lot of hiring going on. It was not like the briskest of economic times. And so I said, what's going to make me stand out? What's going to make me different? And isn't it funny that, that was many years ago, but the key to success today is differentiation, standing out.
Imagine how that works.
That part hasn't changed, right? Well, so for me, I felt like the thing that was really going to differentiate me from the other thousands of people that would graduate with a BBA at Iowa was face-to-face personal communication ability.
What?
Novel concept. The ability to actually hold a conversation, the ability to actually share thoughts and think on the fly and all those kinds of wonderful things. So I started selling. I became a licensed life insurance agent at the age of 18 while going to school and playing Big Ten football, and had some pretty massive sales records and different things in those days. But the key was really learning how to focus on the customer, how to really listen to what they say, how to present in such a way where you're offering a solution. I think a lot of times people get hung up, and we're all in the same business. Even if you're a digital marketer, you're in sales.
Yeah.
Because marketing is simply a presentation of the overall sales funnel, right? I mean, it's the presentation of the overall offering of the products, goods, or services. And that's what I think people sometimes get confused on, is that no matter what you're doing, you're promoting a position. You're sharing a piece of information. So as an example, I actually sent this to a group that I'm about to go on tour with. Beautiful website. Created an entire affiliate program. But in order to get the affiliate links go straight to the checkout page. So, and the original affiliate coupon codes to the main site that lists the details of the event and lists, you know, the speakers' bios and lists all the sales copy, don't work. So you've got a trackable link, but when you post the trackable link, it goes straight to an order page. So it's kind of like saying, or this is what I put in my email to them this morning early, was it's kind of like saying, you know me, buy this. That's 100% of the presentation. This is my link. You know me, buy this.
Pretty much.
As opposed, right, I'm just trying to relate the psychology of a buyer, right? Versus, oh, this is going to be on this topic. Oh, I can walk away with this expectation. Oh, here's this amazing group of speakers. Oh, I can spend 2 days immersed in this work. Oh, there's going to be opportunities to get up close and personal to the speakers and the presenters. Wow, this is a life-changing experience. Click here, because now I'm really enthralled. And I know you. The "and I know you" should be the icing on the cake. It shouldn't be the sales presentation. I mean, sometimes it is, but do you understand what I'm saying? So we've got this huge initiative. That and because people wanted to have their clicks trackable, they went to a certain affiliate software, and then they populated it with all these products. I mean, a lot of it is really good, but there's no taking them to the sales page first, or to a landing page, or to an opt-in page. It goes straight to an order page. I mean, to a specific order. In other words, there are actually 5 offerings for each event. And so if you post one of them, there's actually 4 more offerings you're not even offering them. Does that make sense? So let's just say that there's a $150 option, a $500 option, $1,000, $1,500, $2,000. But you only see the $150 option. Well, you only see the option of whichever link you choose to send out. So if you only send out the $2,000 option, that's all they ever see. They don't even know that there's 4 others below it, because the links are so specifically tied, which on one side is a really good thing if they go to the landing page first and see all those options and then pick and choose from there. So again, sales is communicating a message. And so what I said to him, I said, please hear my heart here. We haven't communicated the message or the expectations, and we're relying upon, you know me, buy this. And I know nobody intended it to be that way.
Right.
But that's the way it looks at the moment. Right? So hopefully they get on that and they fix it. But the point about getting face-to-face communication ability is things like that, is being able to to understand what somebody really wants to accomplish versus how they either act or say it or communicate it. Wait a second, there's a disconnect between what you're working to accomplish and the way you're doing it. It's the same thing when you're in sales. If your boss tells you everybody loves, you got 3 choices. Everybody loves choice number 2.
Okay.
The only thing you're going to do as a salesperson is go out and present choice number 2. Because that's what you've been told by your boss. But if you go listen to the marketplace, some people in the marketplace will like number 1, some will like number 2, and some will like number 3. But instead of trying to provide all 3 solutions, find the appropriate solution and present it. And so that's what really happened. So by learning to ask questions, by learning to listen, by learning to really hear what the prospects wanted, that's why I was able to be successful so much faster. It's also why when I came out of school, I had 7 job offers when most people had none. So what that did is that then gave me choice.
Choice is nice. I was in the same position after college, and it was really nice and felt ultra safe.
Choice is great, because without choice, you kind of lose hope, right? Or you get stuck into, I was in an all-day mastermind yesterday, and one of the guys there was 25.
Okay.
And he said, yeah, I've got this burning desire to do this. And, but when I came out of school, I went to work for somebody else. But I had such a burning desire to do this. I might have been distracted at work and not really done the work that I was hired to do. And they didn't like that, so they fired me. But he said, so then I started a company doing what I really wanted to do. It's a left-handed way of starting your own company and becoming an entrepreneur. I get that. He had the burning desire to do that and all that other kind of stuff. But it's how he got there, right? I'd rather have people matched up with what they really like. If people ask me, or we actually had a little bit of session of that yesterday in this mastermind, if you could go back and talk to 18-year-old you, what would you say? And so
where would you begin?
Yeah, I know. Well, there's a lot of different things you could do, but from a professional side, I would say make sure you follow your heart and go with what makes your heart go pitter-pat. Land on your purpose faster.
Land on your purpose faster.
Right. And then I know the next obvious question is, well, but I don't know what my purpose is. You may not know what your purpose is, but everybody knows what makes their heart go pitter-pat. There are things you love. There are things you hate. There are things that you would do just because you love to do them.
My Be Live dashboard is going pitter-patter, pitter-patter, pitter-patter.
See?
I'm not joking. It's like shaking. It's like throwing me off.
It's kismet. No, so that was, from that side. So for me, the thing is, I loved talking to people and finding out their needs, wants, and desires.
And that's essentially active listening.
Exactly. People make selling, we talk about this a lot on Double Funnel TV here, but people make selling way too hard. I mean, way too hard. Right? So, okay, so now this...
I don't think they even make it hard. I think they scare themselves out of it before they even touch it.
Probably true. Probably true. So as an example, it's hilarious. So I'm talking to this 25-year-old yesterday. Now he's got some pretty cool software he developed. And actually, we talked about you a little bit in this conversation. He's got some hyper targeting stuff. I mean, crazy hyper targeting. And so I'm going to learn more about it because I think there's a lot of people that we could really help with what he has, with what he's developed. Okay. But as an example, instead of saying, what does your product do? How does it work? All that kind of stuff. My question to him was, who's your perfect avatar? Who is your perfect client?
Isn't it crazy when people ask you questions like that? You're like,
well, no. And he goes, what do you mean? I said, who would your product benefit the most?
Wait.
Well, we're having success with, okay, that's awesome. You're having success with this person, category, job, task, whatever. Okay, that's cool. Is that the best place for what you have? Well, it's what's working right now. We got in there and it's working. That's awesome. Where else would it work? Well, it's working really well right there. Why don't we just keep on going there? I'm not suggesting you can't keep on going there. But let's just say there stops working. Where do you go next? Or today's activity does not determine today's volume. Today's activity determines volume 30, 60, 90, 120, 180 a year from now.
Aren't we learning that here at Warfare Marketing ourselves?
Well, but if we don't know, it's funny because I was laughing with somebody the other day. I said, I got good news and bad news. And they said, what's the good news? Or what's the bad news? I said, the bad news is this client's sales cycle is 12 to 18 months.
I had a guy like that in here yesterday.
And they said, well, that is bad news. What's the good news? As I started working on it 12 to 18 months ago. That's the good news. I recognized that their sales cycle was that long ago. Okay. So I started working on it. And yes, for 12 to 18 months, it's, we haven't made a whole bunch of progress but all of a sudden, novel concept, after you apply enough time and energy and effort, it starts to turn around. Okay.
Right. It's funny how that works.
But see, that again is part of it's part of listening. Active listening is a technique that I'll teach here in a second. But just plain listening, when you go into somebody and they say, well, our decision-making cycle is fairly long. Oh, really? Tell me about that. But what do so many people say? So many people go in when somebody says, oh, our decision-making process is long. The first thing they do is go on attack and say, how do we shorten that?
You're assuming something's wrong. Like you can't shorten certain sales cycles. Like I have one client, it's 5 years, 3 to 5 years.
Well, again, think of the bamboo tree. Okay. The bamboo tree by
the way, I love that you say, think of the bamboo tree. And I'm like, I thought bamboos were grass. Like, I don't even know what a bamboo tree is. Is that bamboo?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, this big round bamboo that shoots up. But here's what most people don't know about bamboo. Pretty important piece. You plant the seed, you put it in the ground, you care for it, you water it. Doesn't sprout in a week, doesn't sprout in a month, doesn't sprout in a year. It sprouts in 5 years. And then it grows 80 to 90 feet in a matter of weeks.
Oh, those are like the ones at the zoo has giant walls of those.
Exactly.
Those are like, that's not like I don't say the normal bamboo. That's like the big bamboo.
Well, yeah, it's a bamboo tree. That's what I said. But the point is that it's a 5-year nothing. No outward sign of anything happening is there for 5 years. And then once it breaks ground, it just shoots up 80 or 90 feet in a extremely short period of time. So the point is, that's where I keep on, when we're doing this training, helping people hopefully get to the point of, if you're in a 24/7, 365 forever business, that's one concept to adopt. I'm in a 24/7, 365 forever business. I'm here forever. I'm here until I'm not, right? I mean, that's the thought process. And between now and when I'm not, I'm going to need to do business. So while I would love to do business with you today, if it's not today, I'll do business with you next month, and then I'll work with somebody else today. But if you don't have enough of, if you don't have enough in your pipeline or in your funnels, that's why funnels are so important. If you don't have enough in your funnels, then you have nobody to work on today. If you're relying on meeting somebody today and turning that into money today, it's possible, but it's difficult. So if you recognize that, then make life easier and put more people in your funnel more often, faster, and work them through the system. That's why funnels are so important. A funnel brings them in at the top and brings them down. And if you really take it, it should have a pipe that spits out the bottom. You put them in the top, you do whatever it takes to work them down through the funnel appropriately. And at some point in time, they come out. That's why it's called pipeline selling. You put them in the pipeline. You put them in the carrier. That's the funnel.
Right.
You move them through that funnel until they come out your pipeline. And see, that's where, like CRM softwares like Salesforce and things like that, that's all about where are they in the process.
Yeah.
And it's designed to keep them moving towards the process. Right?
Yeah.
So again, the listening portion of this, active listening, is a way to gain more information faster. And then the other side of this is that people think that their boss or their company or whomever has trained them so much on their product, and oh my God, my product is so amazing, and it's got this XYZ nano
technology,
whatever. Yeah, it's got
specialness.
They use all these big words. And it's not the big words that count. It's the what's it going to do for me?
It's not the big words that count.
That's why I don't even say them. It's funny. Sean says them a lot. He'll talk about ingredients to products and things like that in the example. I try not to even clutter my head with those big words. Maltodextrin. Exactly. It's like, do I want that or not want that? I don't know, right? So the point is, if you say, let's simplify this. There's artificial sweetener. Do you really want artificial anything going into your body? If you could limit it, would you? Again, people make it harder than it needs to be. So you're the person who knows why they will buy and why they will not buy is your prospect. And the more that you can educate yourself on how to understand why your prospect buys, the better off you will be. It's not rocket surgery.
It seems like rocket surgery.
But it's really not. You know, when you can sit there and ask a question and say, and as opposed to a question that pins them into a particular choice, you really allow them to paint the picture and build the dream of what they want. If you had a perfectly operating organization, what would that look like to you? You ask open-ended questions, open-ended meaning they are not typically answered with a yes or a no. They are answered with an explanation of some sort. So if I say, do you like red? No. Yes or no. But if I say, what color, what's your favorite color and why? Now you're going to say, well, my favorite color is red. And the reason is because every time I see red, it makes me think of. Now, all of a sudden, do you understand the amount of information I got? But if I sit there and say, do you like red? No. Do you like blue? No. Do you like green? No. Oh, so you don't like anything? No. You've gotten nowhere. And so again, it's just as Sean taught last Saturday at our live event, the 3 yeses. Mm-hmm. There are counterfeit yeses. There are counterfeit no's, but there are counterfeit yeses. Yes. Well, it's designed to get you out of the way. Well, that's why he said, just so we're clear, can you help me understand what your yes means? Do you understand what he's doing? He's active listening. He's now qualifying the response that you gave. And to a certain extent, that's what active listening is qualifying the responses from your prospects. So if I say to you, and again, it's also, I think the key that's really important to understand is your only predetermined goal with meeting with a prospect is to learn everything you possibly can about them.
Your only predetermined goal.
Right.
Not to sell something, not to get a lead, not to educate, engage, excite. It's just to
learn. Because if I know more about you, can I engage you faster? If I know more about you, can I excite you faster?
In theory.
In theory. Don't be so reluctant in these answers. So the point is, my real goal is to learn everything I can about you. You know, and you can even come into your presentation that way. Jenny, you know what? From what I've seen about you, impressive personal successes, about warfare marketing, cool to see who you work with and what you do. Your work is awesome. From what I've been able to observe, it seems as if the solutions that we offer would be a great match for either you or you and your client base. But before I present what I think, how about if I ask you a few questions? Would that be okay? That's the transition into it. Before I present, in essence, what I'm saying, before I present to you, I want to make sure that I'm on target. And that's what most people don't do. It's, oh, you fogged a mirror? Good. Listen to everything I have to say. And the problem becomes, all of a sudden, we give all sorts of information.
What if you don't fog a mirror?
Well, that most people still give all the information because then they can tell their boss they made a sales call that day.
Oh,
they were dead, but at least I made the presentation. I got the practice in. But again, that's the part that people, so it's interesting. People go, like this event yesterday that I went to, all-day mastermind.
Mm-hmm.
I went with no predetermined, this is what I'm going to come away with here. I had an idea of who a couple of the players were going to be in this meeting, but I didn't know everybody. I didn't know everybody that was going to be there and all that. But by the time I was done, I opened up conversation. I'm just trying to think through.
You can't think and talk at the same time.
But there were probably 14 people there yesterday. I talked to all 14 at some time, but I really opened up business possibilities with 12 of the 14. And because I talked to all 14, and or as they were talking to the group, I listened to, like one guy said, it was amazing. Here's an amazing group, right?
Okay.
One guy says, my wife and I have been together 51 years. Been a long time, straight out of like 9th grade or something. I can't remember what grade he said. It was 8th, 9th grade, something like that. And now we haven't been married 51, but we literally have been together 51 years, right?
Okay.
Cool. Later on in the conversation, one of the guys says, my lovely wife and I just had our 60th wedding anniversary. Pretty cool. Here's a guy who's been with his wife for 51 years, gets over the top by somebody who's been with his wife 60 years. 2 people later, the gentleman says, my wife and I just celebrated our 71st wedding anniversary.
What kind of room were you in?
And now tell me there's not some experience in that room. Is that amazing? Now that guy happened to be a former Secretary of State. He has had he was the Secretary of Education. He was he's got buildings named after him. Just an amazing guy. And then he said, I'm on 6 charity boards. Which part do you think caught my ear? Because we've got our fundraising opportunities. I could serve him. And so the point is, isn't it funny? You're sitting in a room. Oh, by the way, remember I just told you I was talking to the 25-year-old too. You talk about a room that was diverse. But you sit there and you have all that experience sitting in a room. But how do you recognize that there's probably something you could learn from being there? Well, just the fact that if you want to learn how to get and stay married, there's 3 pretty good guys to talk to.
Instead of asking your single friends.
Yeah, single friends always give the best advice on marriage.
So, but I mean, great tips there on the story and everything, but the selling portion.
Well, the selling portion is first gaining the information. See, the sale becomes so much easier when it's actually just education. And part of making the sales process educational is having information. Typically, the person with the most information wins. And so part of it is, this is where, again, isn't it interesting? You jump to, yeah, but did you sell anything? God, you sound like every sales manager on the planet. If it was possible, do you think I didn't try where I could? So the point was that you gain information. That's why, again, sales is a long tail strategy. Sales is a 24/7, 365 forever strategy. I'm going to be in the business of presenting product to people until I'm not. So therefore, it's while I'm working for today on one thing, I'm planning for tomorrow on another. That sells. It's all part of the process. That's why you have to listen. And the better you are at listening, the more time you have available. And the faster, when you hear an opportunity, the faster you can take advantage of it and the shorter the sales cycle becomes. But if you're so busy talking all the time and presenting all the time, you're not
Nobody ever does that.
Yeah, exactly. You're not listening. And if you're not listening, that's problematic.
Well, let's sum it up this way, because I mean, I like all the stories, and it's easier to a lot of times learn from the story than it is the bullet points. Like, you get a better understanding of it. But if there were 5 things that people could do to be better active listeners to increase sales, what would those be?
Well, the actual process is to ask an open-ended question.
Okay.
That's the first step. Jena, what's your favorite color? That's okay. Blue.
It's not really, but
okay.
Obviously.
Well, but let's play along. That's what's fun about this. I now take a word, a concept, or a phrase from the answer you just gave me, create a new question, and send it back to you. A word, a concept, or a phrase, create a new question, send it back. That's bullet number 2. Make sense?
Okay.
So in this case, because you only gave me one word, blue, I would say something like, what makes blue so exciting for you? Blue is the word that I crafted a question around. What makes blue so enthralling? Why do you like blue so much? Those are all questions built with the one word you gave me. So play along. What makes blue so exciting to you?
It's peaceful.
That's nice, isn't it? What does peaceful mean to you?
Calm in the chaos away from 4 or 3 kids. I forgot how many kids I have.
Come and when, especially when you sell them, you sell them and right. So calm in the chaos. So you got kids. That's really cool. What are their ages?
Almost 5, 7, and about to graduate high school at 18.
Wow, that's awesome. Which one's your favorite?
Ouch, Zinger, you got to know the rules. There are rules. You can't have favorites.
I'm just kidding you. I just love when I ask moms that, but I know you got one anyway. But I won't ask that. So what do you like? Boys, girls? What do you
got? 2 girls, 1 boy.
Awesome. Little girls are cute, aren't they? Aren't they fun? They're just nuts.
Yeah. The boy's the sweetheart, though.
Really? What makes him such a sweetheart?
He's just the sweetheart. My girls are full of sass. Don't know where they get it from.
Yeah, I can't imagine that whatsoever. So, but what makes him so sweet?
He's just at a sweet age. Probably the sweetest age for kids is probably they're about 7, where he's at now, to 10.
Did you find that age through experience or through like book learning?
hard experience.
Okay. But so do you understand what I've been doing here? All I'm doing is taking your answer and creating a new question, which is then creating a conversation, which is changing your face and your demeanor in what you're doing. Thank you, dear. That is very nice.
Did you get hooked up?
Yep. My lovely wife just brought me a treat. So but you understand your whole demeanor changed in that process, because all of a sudden you started thinking. Think where this started.
Thinking.
Well, yeah, but what's your favorite color is where we started. And we got all the way from what's your favorite color, a very innocuous, who cares kind of question, to all of a sudden you sitting back, and I could see you picturing events with your kids in your mind. And all of a sudden you smiled, and then you went, oh, that one wasn't so great. And oh, that one was awesome. But you understand how your state changed as we went through these questions. Now,
sure.
there's no script here. There's no, I'm trying to get you into any particular thing. But think about how much information that I have. You got 5, 7, 17-year-old. You've got 2 girls and a boy. You've got, your boy's sweet, your girls are sassy. Do you understand all I've learned by just allowing you to talk? Well, it's the same in a business situation. If I say to you, what do you like best about the business you're doing? You say, you know what? I really love my employees. That's awesome. How many employees do you have? I've got 8. Cool. Which one's your favorite? Oh, that's not nice. Oh, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I know you got one though. Yeah, I do. Okay, right. So what makes your employees so awesome? Well, they just really care about our customers. Well, how's that make you feel? When our customers are happy, it's just like everything, all the bad I had to put up with to get to this point has all been worth it. Now, I know there's some people sitting here going, Scott, how do you sell from this position? You sell from this position because you're creating a relationship.
Now, is this like the concept of like coming into an office and finding something to start a conversation about?
Sure.
Okay.
So you come into an office. The guy or the girl has got pictures of their little boy that plays soccer. Right? It's either on the back wall or it's sitting on their desk. You notice that and you walk in and you say, hey, Jena, you must be an amazing basketball fan. And you go, are you an idiot? My kids play soccer. Do you understand? It's the same kind of thing, right? As opposed to finding commonalities. People want to do business with those they know, like, and trust. If you like my kids, I like you because I like my kids.
That's a good start.
Right? So if you like my kids and you're sincere in that, that goes a long way towards me liking you.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the interesting thing about sales is sometimes people would say, well, you're trying to manipulate. No, I'm trying to learn so I don't manipulate. I want to learn about you so that I can relate to you and what you're going through and provide you a service to help you through what you're going through. And so if me learning about your kids helps us go through that, that's better.
Yeah. That makes sense.
But it's when people go, They walk into your office. They haven't said two things to you. They see your kid plays soccer. And they say, you know what? Your kid plays soccer. Exactly the reason you should buy my product.
Yeah, because those relate.
But people do it all the freaking
Do they really?
time.
Do they?
They do it all the time.
I'm so harsh with salespeople. Like, I don't even give them the chance to try. So,
well, but okay. So,
well, I mean, I would argue though that they didn't create the relationship first. So that's like, you know, because we're sitting here in our office. I've got the reception, you know, just outside the door here from our conference room, and there's people who like do like the door knocking, like door-to-door sales, except they do it for office spaces, right? And the biggest ones are the commercial real estate brokers.
Right.
I've only been here like not even a year yet. So they didn't even get to learn that, like, hey, I'm still I'm nowhere. I've still got a whole another 4 years on my lease before I even start thinking about it, right? And then they're like, hey, just, you know, use me. I'm like looking at this young kid who, you know, has no dirt under his fingernails and no experience and
has no clue.
You know, he's not having a conversation. And I try to stop him. Like, I love the hustle, right? But I'm like, hey, I get it. Keep your expensive, highly printed out folder and sales propaganda. I've taken care of. I'm very happy with my broker. But thanks for stopping by. Next time, bring cupcakes. But yeah, and they'll get really like, no. I'm just gonna leave this here with you. I know how much that highly printed piece of cardboard folder costs. Like, no, seriously, I'm not using you.
Do you know why they're insistent upon leaving that?
Why?
Because their boss told them no matter what you do, make sure you leave that. That's the way they've been trained. They've been trained that this is what you do. Don't take a no for an answer. Leave that, you know, do this. Make sure we understand that you're going in there and you're probably going to get a no as far as they need somebody. But if you slip our stuff in front of them, there will come a day where they call you back. That's the way they're trained versus have the talent to hear what somebody's really saying. Say, no, I know how much this cost. Please don't leave this. Use it somewhere else. Thank you for being so considerate, Jena. That's really nice. Now, I do know that things change from time to time. Can I still drop by every 30 days or so just to say hi?
Sure, but next time bring food.
See now, but you understand what just happened there. So as opposed to a pre-programmed, this is what you do every time in this situation, period, because it takes a little talent to be able to read people. But nobody trains talent. They train, do this. This is what you do. And when you do this, there are different businesses. There's one group that I think of in a certain industry. They've got 1,200 offices. Okay.
Okay.
It doesn't matter where in the country you go. They will say the exact same thing. They will do everything the exact same. They will, period. Why?
Okay.
They've been trained a system. I will
say that, like, so let's go to that system thing, because I'm a fan of systems.
I am too.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I like my systems to be agile, right?
I am too.
But I mean, I think systems are good.
I think systems are good. But
is this like, it reminds me of the military though, like some of the wars that have not gone the best for us have been when we've been trying to run tactical decisions at a strategic level. So is this one of those, like, you have to train the system, but then give your sales team leeway to make human decisions?
Yes. If everything was just the system, every answer would be the same everywhere. And we know that's not the case. And so, yes, having a system is better than not having a system. Having talent and a system together is awesome. So part of when I do 3-day or 5-day sales trainings, as an example, the first 3 days is the science of selling. That's kind of the system side. The last 2 days is the art of selling. How to use the systems. So there's system selling, and then there's the art of using the systems, and they're 2 different things.
That's interesting.
And that's again, part of the issue that we face today is we're in such a me, now, it's got to happen today. Oh my God, relationships are dead. I heard it again from somebody. We've gone to Salesforce because relationships are dead.
I thought the whole point of Salesforce was so that you could be better at building relationships. I'm confused.
One would think so, but
I literally thought that was the whole point of the CRM, is so that, let's say that active listening, like I know here, like whenever you get information, like when I'm on the phone, I'm typing, because that way I can go back into my notes and I can like remind myself, like, who is that guy again? Because I mean, I'm talking to I'm doing 6 calls a day sometimes. That's insane. Like you can hear my voice. It's been cracking the last couple of weeks, right?
Right.
But this way I can remember. I can go into the CRM. I can see my notes.
There's not a doubt on why it's so valuable. But what far too many people see it as is busy work to log all this stuff so somebody can now go quantitatively, hey, you only made 6 calls today instead of 10. In other words, the tool becomes the accountability piece, which on one side is good.
I say, that's kind of nice.
But it also becomes the whipping post. I mean, I know people who so use this, they've got to make, by hook or by crook, 9 calls a day. Okay?
Okay.
Have to. Must be done. They do it in the first 2 hours of the day. They report the first one after the third one, because now it looks like they were there that whole time. They report the second one after the fourth one. Do you understand?
Okay.
But they get their 9 calls in and everybody goes, oh, you made 9 calls. You worked hard today.
And they could have been really terrible calls, or none at all.
Could have been really terrible calls, could have been whatever, but because the software says they made 9 calls, okay, you did a great job today. And the point
I would like to think that that's only one metric.
Well,
you're measuring some cells
again, too, because we have worked so hard to put expert trainers in those management positions. We've put software specialists in management positions to make sure that they've put the stuff in the software the right way. And that, oh yeah, look, this one has hit 82% of their calls. They're killing it. This one's only hit 60% of their calls. I think did I tell you, I don't know if I've told you this story, but way back when I was in, when I first started, they taught, this was Saturday when we were doing the live event. I taught, when I started in life insurance, they taught you make 10 calls to get 3 appointments, to make 2 closing presentations, to sell 1 prospect. And I asked the audience, what do you think the closing percentage of the industry is when that's what you're taught? And they said, well, it seems like it should be 10%. You're right, it should be, but it's actually about 9%. They train you to close 9% of your sales. Now, I, being a snot-nosed kid, would make 5 calls. I'd get 4 appointments. I'd make 4 presentations, and I'd typically close 4. I'm closing 80% of all the calls. And you know what my district manager said?
You're not making enough calls.
You're not making enough calls. And that's when I learned a long time ago. And that was way before like Salesforce even existed or things like that. But that was, there were other tracking mechanisms back in those days, but that's kind of the thing. But that, again, that's why people get
stone and chisel.
People get deceived into this. Sales is a numbers game. Sales is not a numbers game. Sales is a people game. Sales is about meeting, knowing, and understanding people. And when you understand that, the rest comes a lot easier. But if you don't understand people, gosh, there was another example. Was it yesterday or the day before? I can't think of it right this second. But it was like, oh my goodness. The person just said to you, if you do this, it will upset me. And the person came right back around and did that. Because they were so focused on what they were trained to do, that when the person said, whatever you do, don't do that, they did it anyway. That's where the individualized skill has left so much of the business. As you know, it's pre-programmed, robotic. Here's what you do. You do these 4 things. You do this, and then you hand them your card, and then you do. And it's like, are you kidding me? Yesterday, so we're sitting there, and somebody was at this mastermind that I hadn't anticipated being there, and I just heard the clues that they were just lobbing softballs out there. And so, you know, in one of the breaks, I just went up and I said, you know, man, it's just exciting, all the things you've got going. I said, I don't know if this is even fit for you. But you said ... And I've got a relationship with somebody that might be able to serve that area for you. Well, when can we get together? As soon as you can. That's awesome. I appreciate it. Do you understand? If you understate it and you let, there's a reason you don't fish taking a lure and beating it down on the fish's head and trying to stick it into its back. There's a reason that you make it look like the food they want and you let them grab the food they want. There's a reason. You put things out there and you let people respond to them. And again, there's so much of that in selling, but that's what active listening is. So if I keep on throwing out, if I ask you a question and you give me an answer, and I now take a word, a concept, or phrase, recreate the question and send it back to you, now all of a sudden you're the one who's answering this because you want to answer this.
Right.
I don't ever want to sell you anything, but I always want you to buy a lot from me. Therefore, I've got to create an environment for you to want what I have. You know, there are companies that go, are you a sales trainer? Yes, I am. Well, how do you train them to make 47 calls and to do this? And I say, absolutely not. And they're like, well, why not? Well, why would I train you to do something that doesn't work? Why would I train you to do something that's going to burn out your salespeople? Oh, that's a pretty dramatic statement. What do you do? Well, I train them to really enjoy what they're doing. I train them to sell more with less effort. I train them to make you more money with less price concessions. What? Maybe we should talk. Yeah, maybe we should. I mean, that's, and people go, does that really work? Yes, it really works. You know, so again, it's when you can refine talent, and that's all selling is refining your listening ability, your questioning. They who ask the most questions and the best questions win. That's the truth.
He who asks the best questions and the most questions wins?
Yep. Person asking the questions is in control of the selling situation. So the more questions you can ask, the better questions you can. Stop presenting, stop talking. Ask questions instead. Active listening. Now be active at what you hear. I mean, what things do you hear?
Right.
When you ask people things, what do you actually hear them saying?
Fair enough. Anything else? 'Cause I just realized it's like 10:05. We were having such good stories.
Well, of course, there's lots more, but you know, this is active listening, and this is a particular topic that it would be wonderful, and obviously we don't have a ton of people here live with us, but as people listen to this on the replay, if you would develop your own questions and send them to us,
that's smart.
I would encourage you. I'll help you with this. The better you are at this, the better you are at selling. You will make more money with less effort at higher margins, period.
I like the higher margins too.
If any and all of those are attractive to you, reach out.
Fair game. We'll go wrap this up. Like you said, go ahead and drop those questions that you're going to develop to use in your own selling in the comments below. We'll peck Scott until he answers all the questions. And we will see you guys on Monday, where we are going to have a special guest. I know, straight out of ClickFunnels.
Wow.
And now consulting on her own to talk marketing strategy.
Wow.
So
I think I know who that is.
3 talking heads.
Awesome.
All right,
I'm
guys.
excited.
Y'all have a great day.
Have a great weekend. Bye.